How winners are made. I gotta do a little hair flip. You know what? I'm gonna grow my hair out and like do a bona fide hair flip. You know, make it, have pizzazz. I have no idea what that word means, but pizzazz is where it's at, clearly. How winners are made. I wish I could say that with a British accent, like holding a cup of tea, like, you know. How winners are made. Okay, that sounded weird. All right. If your inner light is a fierce shade, if you never let your fire fade, if you know how the game is played, then you know how winners are made. If you have gone through pain, if you ever went against the grain, if you thought you might go insane, then you have the power to reign. If your past was tough and dark, if you manage to keep your spark, and oh my god, my hair. I was trying to do like something cool and that didn't. Oh my god. This is great. I am not going to refilm this. Like, I think it's kind of entertaining. Yeah. Woohoo. So fluffy. Look at that. So fluffy. You wish you had a puppy with hair as fluffy as mine. Look at that. All right. If your past was tough and dark, if you managed to keep your spark, if you overcame an evil shark, then you can make a huge mark. If your mind contains a complex maze, especially with this hair. Okay. If your mind contains a complex maze, if your eyes radiate a special gaze. Ooh, special gaze. Especially with like the hair. Okay, I'll stop now. Or not. You know, whatever I want to do. Okay. If your lips speak of the sun's rays, then you can break through the haze. If you recognize paths others can't see. If you empower people to live free. If you tackle problems but don't flee, then you represent waves of a magical sea. If you trust patterns of the unknown. See? I guess that's having faith, right? You trust patterns of the unknown. Wow. I should like get out in public and just be like, if you trust patterns of the unknown, come on, people. Like, sing with me. Ah, ah, ah. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. Okay, that ended up like looking a little creepier than I wanted it to. If you discover secrets of an enchanting tone, if you refuse to become an obedient clone, then you understand how to hold the throne. If you run to test the limits of love, if you can appreciate a beautiful dove, if you plant your fist firmly in a glove, then you know what dreams are made of. If you walk with pride and stand tall, if you are willing to give it your all, if you are unafraid to make the call, then you know how life can be a ball. I just like doing this. It's so much fun. Just like, oh, isn't it fun? Like, just, oh, yeah. That's great. Can you imagine if, like, everybody walked down the street and they were like, you know, like a slow motion hair flip? Except that wasn't really a hair flip. That was just me, like, flaunching my hair. Which is cooler than a hair flip, if you ask me. Okay, like, I started, like, talking about how winners are made, and I completely went off on tangents. Okay. If you have been touched by passion, if you have let negative thoughts ashen, if you have learned how to ration, then your soul is made of timeless fashion. If you love to cross every arbitrary line, if you don't pretend that you're fine, if your character has heart and a spine, then you know what it takes to shine. If you knock down negative things, if you learn the lesson even if it stings, if you're not intimidated by queens and kings, then you will never lose your wings. If you have climbed out of a cage, if you know how to overcome rage, if your creativity filled a blank page, then you are capable of setting the stage. If your enemies envied your charm, if you are ready to extend your arm, if you never sought to cause harm, then you ruled life and its wild farm. Booyah! Victory! Ah! Okay, you know, I should do this in public. I think it would be more entertaining. Yeah. People look at me like I've gone crazy. So it'll be cool, actually. It would be cool, you know, defying norms and forms, right? Yeah. That's what creative people do, right? Because otherwise you can't really break through, um, expand consciousness, have an impact on society in a big way. You can't do that if you're just gonna stay in a box, right? Every revolution leads to an evolution. Yeah. Okay. I'm probably the most talkative like poet ever. All right. If you wanted to reach the golden road, if you followed your own moral code, if your words eloquently flowed, then winning has always been your default mode. I promise I'm not going to keep interrupting. It's just funny. If your strength knows of no bounds, if you can identify lies built on shaky grounds, if you ignore doubt's annoying sounds, then you have the stamina to endure boxing rounds. If you play to the tune of your own beat, if you can endure the kitchen and its heat, if you keep others on the edge of their seat, then you have the courage to land on your feet. Yeah. Yeah. I need to play Eye of the Tiger in the background. It has to happen. It's my life soundtrack, Eye of the Tiger. Oh, yeah. If you have laughed at the obstacles you had to face, I do that all the time. If you carried yourself with dignity, class, and grace. I got it. You know what? Anybody like read this line and just like publicly just walk out and like in front of everyone like wear something with swag, and they say if you carried yourself with dignity, class, and grace. I love that line. If you have fought to find a purpose and a place, then you have the fortitude to set the pace. If you don't care about the rules others have set, if you have made your opposition tremble and sweat, if you aren't intimidated by any word or threat, then the world hasn't seen anything like you yet. If your presence has a formidable and electric force, along with cool hair. Alrighty. If you're a warrior that changes the course, if you have the endurance of a powerful horse, then victory is your destination and source. If your battles have repeatedly chanted your name, if your enemies can see the depth of your flame, if insight and passion is what you seek to claim, then you are a cannon with deadly aim. If your visions have influence and reach, if you utilize your right to freedom of speech, if you practice everything that you preach, then you can command life like it's a beach. If you haven't allowed darkness to shrink your heart, if you had the capacity to become wise and smart, if you saw pain as an opportunity for a fresh start, then you are a priceless work of art. I hope that makes everybody feel special. I like that. I like making people feel special. It's cool. I think there's enough heartache in the world, If you can make people feel special, that's quite something. Yeah. If you conquer the bitterness of a cruel day, if you punished hate and evil by making it pay, if you knew how to forge your own way, then you have the magic to sculpt treasure from clay. If you're a troublemaker with a grand plan, if you are an explorer who can accurately scan, if you are a pioneer with tools in your van, then I am your biggest supporter and fan. If your troubles pale in comparison to your drive, if your desires push you forward so you strive, if your mistakes urge you to surrender and dive, then you will succeed in inspiring others to thrive. If you don't get sidetracked by poisonous snakes, if you know the right moment to slam on the brakes, if you love the freedom of oceans, rivers, and lakes, then you are the reason why the ground shakes. If you intuitively know where to go and what to fix, If you stack the cruelty of negativity and its bricks. And that was a dark screen moment. Okay. It was like an omen, like the screen, I was gonna say something, so it's like, ah, ah, and it's almost Halloween. Oh my god, oh god, it's Halloween freaks me. I'm not a big fan of it. It's just whatever. All right. Anyways, if you stack the cruelty of negativity and its bricks, if you want to discover all the tips and tricks, then you have a personality that survives and sticks. If you gather ammunition from the rubble of ashes, if you see how lightning strikes and flashes, if you are interested in the root of conflicts and clashes, then you can tackle storms and loud crashes. I don't know why I'm laughing. I have no idea. All right. If you value the significance of bold signs, if you read between definitions and lines, if you know how to avoid multiple minds, then you can navigate unnecessary fines. If your words convey meaning and truth, if you have the need for a sweet tooth, if you collect moments from life's photo booth, then you have made the best of you. If you transform what hurts into what heals, if you saw hell drive by on its wheels, wouldn't that be fascinating? Like hell had like I don't know, like a Lamborghini, and it's like honking. It's like, yo, I'm coming for you. Like, can you imagine just like going down the street and you see it, and then you're like, what the hell, dude? Like, like why is everybody living in fear? It's hell right there, yeah, on a Lamborghini, and you're just freaking out. No, take it in stride. When hell is on a ride. I don't know. That didn't go along well, did it? No. All right. I have better moments. I know. All right. If you saw hell drive by on its wheels, if you are grateful for still being alive and having meals, then you have exposed the rawest deals. If you walk straight through the halls of danger, if you were treated by your best friends as a stranger, if you looked up to Chuck Norris because he's a Texas Ranger, then you were destined to become a game changer. I love it. This is like my favorite part of the book. Come on. Who doesn't love Chuck Norris? He kicks ass. He's a nice guy, and he gets everybody to want to kick ass too. He's a bona fide leader. That's the way to do it. Just call up Chuck Norris, and if you're having a crappy day, just call up Chuck Norris and be like, yeah, let's go kick some ass. Let's go kick the booty of hell. That came across weird, didn't it? All right, I'm gonna change the whole Halloween theme right now. If you ever felt completely broken, lost, and sad, if you were ever treated like you were just a fad, if you're capable of being good but also bad, then you can gather strength even if you're mad. If you are a trailblazer that can dig ditches, if you have the willpower to go from rags to riches, if you paid the price for all your scars and stitches, then you know how life quickly switches. Damn, that was smooth, wasn't it? If you know where to find love's building blocks, if you discovered a unique and revolutionary box, if you see how time changes hands of its clocks, then you will invent brilliant keys and locks. If you have been cut right down to your core, if you swam through the current and landed on the shore, if you have ever cried endlessly on your floor, then you have the gumption to bravely soar. I'm laughing because like it's better than like being sad, I guess. That's a great attitude, isn't it? Whenever you feel like being sad, you smile. You laugh. I don't know. It would be great if that was an international movement, just seeing a whole bunch of people laugh and smile, even if they're sad. Yeah. It's a different perspective, right? If you have been hurt and left for dead, if you wondered where you would get bread, if your chest was filled with dread, then you know of the lies others have said. If you have seen where monsters hide, If you were like Bonnie looking for her Clyde. If you took difficult events and managed them in stride. Then you let divergent thinking be your guide. If you wanted to strike aggression and its nerve. That's badass, isn't it? Boom! Alright. If you knew the intersection of every curve. If you lived with much zest and powerful verve. Then you have mastered how to skillfully swerve. If you thoughtfully approached every assigned label. Oops, I didn't say every, I said each assigned label. Okay. Gonna pretend I didn't say anything. Alright. If you are forced to endure trials and be stable, if you wondered about plots and stories of a fable, then you could always rely on your trusty cable. And I'm not talking about cable television. I just can't take the poetry seriously right now. I'm laughing too much. Alright. If you strummed your fingers with integrity and tact, if you drew a clear line between fiction and fact, because that's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's right. If you had an instinctive urge to find the right moment to act, then you overcame pain when the odds were stacked. If you were aware of what mattered the most to you, if you delighted in the possibility behind each clue, if you enjoyed analyzing anything innovative and new, then you chose all of your options to ensure they were new. If you have been on a long and unforgettable quest, if you have been treated like an unwanted dinner guest, oh God, yeah, that sucks totally. If you did not know the answer and accurately guessed, then you understand it's possible to feel both cursed and blessed. Cursed and blessed. I like that. It's like cursed and blessed. I know, I like how I'm doing this with my fingers. It's funny. All right. If your heart sunk because of the suffering of another soul. If you met people who spread misery because it was their goal. If you questioned your place in the world and your entire role, then you have the integrity necessary to remain composed and whole. I like that. All dignified too about it. If you counted steps to the next problem you would have to overcome. If you banged your head and loudly hit a heavy drum. That's funny. If you showed your lack of respect by obnoxiously chewing gum, then you know what it means to have to tolerate insensitive scum. Yeah. This should be like a protest song, you know? Or part of a protest song. I mean, it's a long poem, but you know what I mean. If you stopped caring about the opinions of others, if you stopped being concerned with the glances of mothers, if you lost friends who you saw as your sisters and brothers, then you have learned to place importance on druthers. If you realize that everything you had could be taken away, if you have seen your thoughts and views slowly stray, if you have experienced every shade of the color gray, then you have managed to keep your demons at bay. If you wanted to read the table of contents of every book, if you wanted to permanently keep a fish on a hook, if you could simultaneously sew, kick ass, look good, and cook. That didn't come across as cocky at all, did it? Okay, wait. Alright, I'll need somebody to teach me how to, like, wink properly. Wait. That wasn't too shabby, was it? Alright. Okay. So, if you could simultaneously sew, kick ass, look good, and cook, then you are a person whose personality has earned a second look. If you found peace in arguments and battles over rent, if you wanted to shake the system and cause a big dent, if you knew where all of the letters and mail were sent, then you could survive anything because standards were what you bent. Yeah. Badass. All right. If you kicked down the door of difficult subject matter, if you ignored the comments of haters and unnecessary chatter, If you felt like some people wanted to put your head on a platter. Wow, that's some dark shit. Okay. Then you have the determination to make barriers shatter. I love every time like I mention something dark, like my screen, it goes dark. My laptop like gets scared, it's like, oh my god. Let's get out of her way. No, I'm kidding. I like the scary Halloween theme. No, I really it's been a long while since I actually celebrated Halloween. I wonder what I should go as this year. Pikachu or a Disney princess. What would be a good Halloween costume for me? I do not know. Got to figure that out. If you have the courage, intellect, and insight to succeed. I love how I'm jumping around. Like I read and then I talk and then I read. Let me know if that's like overwhelming for you guys. Anyways, it's just like how I roll. Okay, if you have the courage, intellect, and insight to succeed. If you have been mercilessly degraded and watch your heart bleed. Mercilessly degraded and watch your heart bleed. I'm not emphasizing that. I just wanted to pronounce it correctly. If you turn the tables because you are competent to lead, then you are a diamond and belong to a rare breed. If your role models include Leonardo da Vinci and Howard Hughes. If you do not judge others unless you walked a mile in their shoes. If you are willing to call out mistakes that you see in someone's views. Then you are someone I regard as a critical thinker and muse. If you sound the alarm when you see injustice appear, if you own all the flaws you have and each fear, if you have lost people and things that you once held dear, then your vision cannot be manipulated because it is clear. Wow. Clear vision. Yeah. I suppose that's what we all need, right? A clear vision. Huh. If you have encountered disappointment and defeat, if you did not want to play the notes on your music sheet, if you ran away to avoid meeting people on your street, then you swayed with the movements of the wheat. If you became dangerous when you were pushed and pressed, if you chanted to promote rituals that alleviated pain in your chest, if you wanted to become the truest version of yourself by being the best, then you are like a magnificent bird that has gone above wisdom's nest. If you had to struggle to find a reason to your rhyme, if you researched every clue so you could stretch time, if you scribbled notes of lessons learned in your long climb, then you took advantage of life in your prime. Wow. I don't know. I think that might be my favorite section of what I wrote.